Just watching that moment made my damn skin crawl because Rob Pelinka has been the problem. And I get it, Rob.
Let's put it where the goats can get it, Big Perk. They don't particularly like him.
Not as good anymore, and that maybe he's only worth 30 million instead of 50. You're not getting that from LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't believe in that. And
James also this season came out after they finished playing the Oklahoma City Thunder and said, that's the
8 of them have had player options in them. Not once in the 8 years has he ever taken, or the 8 times has he ever taken that player option. He has always opted to sign a new contract.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most wins in NBA history, and after the game, Rob Pelinka gave the game ball to his head coach, J.J. Redick, for notching his 100th win, not to LeBron for the accomplishment that he achieved. Let's watch that moment. Watch this.
Training camp with Coach J.J. Redick in the fall.
You know what, Dan?
Yeah.
They haven't put out a statement. So I don't expect him to accept that. And I'll tell you one thing. If you're the Lakers, if you force LeBron to leave, he'll go somewhere else and play for less money.
He's also one of the greatest manipulator of narratives we've ever seen. Put Perk up on that screen, and I dare you to look at me and tell me.
Happy when they signed DeAndre Ayton this offseason? Because we all know.
The complicated relationship between LeBron James and the Lakers and what lies ahead. It included this excerpt that I thought was really interesting and I think can be observed or can be taken a lot of different ways. It says here, Lakers officials would on occasion partake in a parlor game of sorts during games at Crypto.com Arena. An onlooker, was asked to observe James play for a stretch, disregard his name and age, and evaluate his play to come up with a salary number that anonymous player in that position would deserve next season. Can you help me digest that, Wendy? I'm trying to decide. Our staff and I think, view this differently. Tell me when you read that, what was the first reaction that you got from it?
Well, the Lakers have a problem. The Lakers don't want to lose LeBron James. They don't want to lose his 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists a game, but they don't want to pay $50 million for it because the rest of the league isn't going to come bidding $50 million. But here's the reality. If you have a superstar player, and LeBron James is still an all-star, and he is still a superstar player, still a top 20, 25 player in the league, it's very hard to ask that player to take a pay cut, whether he's 21 or 41. And if you want LeBron to take a pay cut, you can't just indeterminately say, hey, will you take a pay cut? You better bring him a reason to take a pay cut and explain that, yes, the team was 0-8 against the Thunder this year, but if we acquire this player or these 2 players with the money you're going to leave on the table, we can overcome that. I think LeBron would be open to that. But the concept that he's just not as good anymore and that maybe he's only worth 30 million instead of 50, you're not getting that from LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't believe in that, and I don't expect him to accept that. And I'll tell you one thing, if you're the Lakers, if you force LeBron to leave, he'll go somewhere else and play for less money. He won't want to stay for the Lakers and play for less money if he thinks it's an insult.
All right, to the NBA now. Since the Lakers were eliminated earlier this week, I have repeated several times on this show how he, the King, is now an unrestricted free agent this summer. And the noise surrounding his next move will continue to get louder, and has over the last several days, because it doesn't seem as easy as LeBron's just going to stay put in L.A. Because a story right now on ESPN.com, Dave McMenamin details that there were moments this season where LeBron felt taken for granted by the Lakers, and pointed to one moment in late March when LeBron passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most wins in NBA history. And after the game, Rob Pelinka gave the game ball to his head coach, J.J. Redick, for notching his 100th win, not to LeBron for the accomplishment that he achieved. Let's watch that moment. Watch this.
More importantly, LeBron James, winningest player of all time in the regular season.
One more accolade tonight. For JJ to come in the league and get back-to-back 50-win seasons, first 2 years as a coach puts you in elite category.
Our coach.
Now, it is worth noting that Dave said that moment wasn't necessarily a deal breaker when it comes to LeBron remaining in L.A. There were other things that were brought up as well. But the overarching question now becomes, have the Lakers taken LeBron James for granted since he's been there in Los Angeles? Perk?
You damn right they have. And just watching that moment made my damn skin crawl because Rob Pelinka has been the problem. And I get it, Rob Pelinka, you're trying to move on from LeBron James, Rich Paul, and the whole clutch moment. And I get it, your new face is Luka Doncic and the great Bill Duffy, who I love, so that's who you're hearing and listening to. But let's not forget, Rob Pelinka is and always will be a Kobe Bryant guy. And so when you think about, forget that moment in the locker room, he should have gave the game ball to LeBron James. I feel LeBron felt some type of way. But let's talk about this roster that they put in place. LeBron James knows what a championship roster look like. LeBron James also this season came out after they finished playing the Oklahoma City Thunder and said, that's the championship roster. In the regular season, he said that. So he was shooting a slug at Rob Pelinka to tell you, hey, man, you need to be-unsay this roster and upgrade in certain areas. LeBron James wasn't happy when they signed DeAndre.
Perk, you know better. You know what this is about. Have the Lakers taken LeBron James for granted? Sure, you can make that argument. But let's put it where the ghost can get it, Big Perk. They don't particularly like him. That's what this is about more so than anything else. They'll never admit that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying there's denials all over the place, just as I said that statement. Oh, my God, I know that, Stephen, they didn't just say that. Perk, I'm going to lean on you, who's been doing a great job covering the NBA all of these years, and obviously you're incredibly connected. You know that Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, and obviously by extension LeBron James has turned them off. When they made the trade for Russell Westbrook that ended up being disastrous, you understand, they felt like LeBron wasn't accepting accountability. When there were narratives put out there that the organization was the issue and not LeBron James, they knew it wasn't them putting that stuff out there. You and I have talked about this. Most NBA analysts talked about this because what have we lamented over the years? As great as he is, LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, one of the greatest players to have ever lived. He's also one of the greatest manipulator of narratives we've ever seen. Put Perk up on that screen, and I dare you to look at me and tell me I'm lying about that. You know there's nobody, there's very few people on the planet Earth more skilled and more committed to controlling narratives than him. You've said it before, Perk. I've said it before. You know that's why you're laughing. That's why Perk laughing, because he knows he said it because it's the absolute truth. I got proof.
$52.6 million player option for next season. His agent left the door open for a possible departure from the Lakers. Take a look at what Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul told our Shams Charania, quote, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. So, this is why opting in to your contract doesn't necessarily mean everything it sounds like it says, because why would the agent, Wendy, put out a statement like that if it was that simple? Take us through what this all means.
Yeah, there's something going on here, and I, to be honest with you, I don't completely know what it is. I talked to Rich Paul yesterday. He reiterated essentially what he's told Shams. What I can tell you is I do not think LeBron James is going to be traded, either today or tomorrow or in a month or in 3 months, because, number one, he makes $53 million, and doing a trade like that to a competitive team that has a high payroll is going to be very difficult. And secondly, he has a no-trade clause, which would mean he would control all sides of a trade. Not only where he would want to go, but what he would want to get traded for. And those parameters just make it unlikely a deal like that would ever happen. So while it is fascinating to think about, I don't think that's an avenue here. Also, I will point out that the Lakers finished as the number 3 seed in the Western Conference last year. Now, it was tightly bunched. The difference between the 3 seed and the 7 seed wasn't that big, but this is not a team that is not competitive for a championship. And I would expect in the next 2 days, they add a player or two to their core that would improve their hand a little bit. So the way that the LeBron's operation has approached this is an indication that he is not happy. And I'm not sure what the Lakers can do to make him happy in the next couple of days that they hadn't done in the last 6 months. And I'm not sure what his next move would be after that. We're all going to want to wait and watch how this plays out.
Yeah, Bobby, how do you think this plays out? Is there if he wanted to be traded, is there even a market for him at this point?
You know, to be sensitive to LeBron, who's considered one of the greatest of all time, there isn't, and here's why, Dan. He's making $53 million. He's in his last year of his contract. He's 40 years old, and I talked to numerous teams yesterday and asked that same question. Would you give up basically the farm, and basically you'd have to give up 4 or 5 players to go get LeBron James for 1 year? And the unanimous answer was no, they wouldn't. Now, the stakes change a lot if LeBron James ever became a free agent and did some type of buyout in Los Angeles. There you would have 29 teams lined up for him. But from a trade perspective, and here's a hypothetical, his former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are in this second apron and have spent a lot of money, they would basically have to trade about 6 players, Dan, just to go out and get him for 1 year. And as one team told me, that's not smart business. Well, and the other thing is, Brian pointed out, the thing about this too is because LeBron has a no-trade clause, he controls all parts of any kind of trade. So not only does LeBron get to say, hey, I want to go to a certain team, he also gets to say, hey, these are the guys I want to come back for me in a trade because this is what I want to have left on the team when I get there, right? If you go back 20 years ago, Kobe Bryant had a no-trade clause. He was on the Lakers. Remember, he wanted to go to the Chicago Bulls. There were negotiations about whether Luol Deng should be in the trade, all these different guys. Eventually, Dr. Jerry Buss sat down with Kobe and said, we're not going to trade you. This is not worth it. You're going to be on the Lakers. That's where I think this is going to end. I don't know if that conversation is going to happen, but there's just not a realistic way to get LeBron somewhere else by a trade. So I think we're going to see him in the fall with Luka Doncic in the Laker uniform.
And just so the viewers are clear, if they can't trade him and he does want out, is there any kind of avenue at all for that, for him to get bought out and become a free agent?
I mean, in theory, the Lakers could waive him and say, hey, you can go be a free agent. I don't see any reason why the Lakers would do that, particularly because LeBron James 2 days ago had the opportunity to be a free agent and opt out of his contract and elect to test the open market, and he chose to take the $52.6 million that were available to him. So to me, if I'm the Lakers, this is very simple. I put out a statement. I say we're thrilled LeBron James has opted in. He's one of the best players of all time, and we're going to be excited to have him and Luka Doncic on the court at training camp with Coach J.J. Redick in the fall.
Well, you know what, Dan?
Yeah.
They haven't put out a statement. So, you know, it's not a rule that you put out a statement announcing when a player picks up an option, but it is customary. And the Lakers did not do that. Unless it went to my spam folder and I didn't see it, guys. I did not see the Lakers put out a statement. He did it. I had to actually check with the team in the league. I said, did LeBron actually opt in? And they said, yes, the paperwork went through. He opted into his contract. Last year, when LeBron signed a contract extension, Rob Pelinka had about a 115-word quote talking about how wonderful LeBron James is and what he means to the Lakers and what he means to their franchise. Yesterday, there was no statement to the Lakers' reaction to the way this was announced. And, you know, I will say this. I talked to Rich Paul. Luka Doncic was informed that this was going to be LeBron's decision. The Lakers were informed that this was going to be what was going to be said. Luka was informed that this was going to be said. So this didn't catch them by surprise. But you know who it did catch by surprise? The rest of the league. Because as I considered which teams that LeBron would ever want to play for, I thought, well, maybe there's some sort of something afoot here. And so I went sort of team by team. And the teams didn't know that this was coming. So Luka was more aware than the potential other teams. So again, there's something that's unusual here. And it's just unusual for LeBron to be in this spot, Dan. He has signed 9 contracts in his illustrious career. 8 of them have had player options in them. Not once in the 8 years has he ever taken, or the 8 times, has he ever taken that player option. He has always opted to sign a new contract. This is the first time in 23 years he's ever been on a contract that is in its last year. And so that is a unique position.
That's the point here. Something is weird about this, Bobby, because it should be cut and dried. He opts in. You say they can't trade him, like he's probably going to end up on the Lakers, and yet there are these other little aspects of this that make it strange. Bobby, what do you do if you're running the Lakers right now? What's the right way for them to handle it?
I'm bringing him back. I'm not entertaining a buyout. There's no benefits.
Yeah, I think that's the way I took it. I actually read that in a positive way, which is to say, some people might say you're going to pay this guy that much money at this age, And they're looking at it and they're saying, if you didn't know how old he was, how good would you say he is? He is still playing at that level. If he played enough games this year to be eligible for the All-NBA teams and all that stuff, I think he would have gotten serious consideration. He's still playing at a level that high, yes?
Yeah, I don't care how old he is, man. There's no way LeBron James should ever have to consider a pay cut or ever be in this whole situation of sending somebody to look at him and like, what are we talking about? We're talking about a guy that's arguably top 3 of all time.
Right.
Nobody needs to watch LeBron James. We know what he is. We know what he does. He's still playing at a high level. This is just crazy.
Perhaps. Monica, why are you making that face?
Really, PJ? Like, listen, I take nothing away from the body of work that we have been privileged to witness when it comes to LeBron James. But if the goal is to win a championship and we got to make these numbers work, like, I think you got to at least, like Greeny said, be able to have, like Wendy said, be able to have the conversation and present why. I take nothing away from who he is. But right now, it's a young man's league. Like, you're trying to win? Come on.
I hear you. I'm going to put the question a little bit differently. If the object is to try and win next year, and I told you they could either have LeBron James or Austin Reeves, but not both, I'm telling you right now, I would take LeBron James.
1,000%.
I know Reeves is whatever he is, almost 20 years younger. Not quite that, but you know what I mean. Yeah. I understand all the other factors that go into that, but I think he gets it closer to winning than anyone else they do. The bottom line of it, though, Wendy, is that's not the either or that we're dealing in. We're dealing in, is there someone else out there in the universe that the Lakers could go and get? And I'm not convinced that person exists. Man, help me out here.
Winds up is with LeBron James playing on the Los Angeles Lakers next season, in my opinion, and with the Lakers being in, frankly, the best possible position they could be in, with LeBron James on a 1-year deal going into next summer, when, by the way, next summer, when Luka Doncic can also be a free agent, the Lakers right now have one contract on the books. Jared Vanderbilt is making about $12 million next summer. That's it. So they have a completely blank canvas to go to Luka Doncic, the face of their franchise going forward, say, hey, Luka, obviously we want you to extend. He can extend his contract on August 2nd. They would love for him to do that then. Even if he doesn't, though, because there's no financial difference between doing it then or next July, go to him for next summer and say, Luka, who do you want on the team? What do you want the team to look like? We can remake it however you want in your image around you. And by having LeBron on this expiring contract, they can both win as much as they can this year and then also have the flexibility to get Luka Doncic the help he wants next summer.
So, Wendy, you mentioned that Luka was aware this move was coming.
Let's talk about this roster that they put in place. LeBron James knows what a championship roster look like. LeBron James also this season came out after they finished playing the Oklahoma City Thunder and said, that's the championship roster. In the regular season, he said that. So he was shooting a slug at Rob Pelinka to tell you, hey, man, you need to be unsafe this roster and upgrade in certain areas. LeBron James wasn't happy when they signed DeAndre Ayton this offseason because we all know, we thought that DeAndre Ayton, a lot of people thought that he was going to change. But Stephen A., I'm going to steal one of your lines. Damn it, if it walked like a duck, it quacked like a duck, it damn sure ain't a giraffe, okay? It damn sure ain't a giraffe.
Mongoose.
You usually say a mongoose, I'm going to say a giraffe. I know, but I want to put my flavor to it. You know what I mean? But what I'm telling you is when you have a guy, a legend, an all-time great, in some people's eyes, in my eyes, a GOAT, you do everything and more, especially at the level that he's been playing at. You do everything and more to surround him and that team with the pieces to actually go out there and contend for a title. So Rob Pelinka, out of any other person, that's the person we need to be highlighting because he hasn't been doing his damn job when it comes to putting pieces around Luka and LeBron. Now,
even with Perk, I don't know if you know this, Shay. That man was on the McDonald's All-American team with LeBron James in 2003. That dude was a former teammate of LeBron James. That dude was a trusted confidant of LeBron James. And when he was remotely critical, LeBron James cut him off. You understand, with the Twitter account, blocked him or whatever it was. And Perk went on social media. What was your comment about Jesus? What was your comment about Jesus? You said something about, he said, I'll get over it. What did you say?
Hey, S.A., Everybody that ain't follow Jesus Christ.
That's right, he said. That's what he said in response to LeBron. Because why? Because Perk was making the point, we are out here covering the game of basketball, and this brother is getting mad at me, meaning Perk, and he's somebody that I've known since childhood, and you tripping over that. Perk was like, please, that you ain't worried about it. You know this, okay? Mad respect to somebody like a Rich Paul, who's done a great job with Clutch Sports and all. Ain't nobody here to cast any aspersions. But we all know over the years, not recently, but over the years, how fixated they were on manipulating and dictating narratives. Well, the Lakers were on the brunt end of all of that. The Lakers had to deal with that. And so what I'm saying is this, LeBron's greatness is not to be...
Exactly. Here's the paradox. If I told the Lakers and their fans that they were going to use their cap space to go out and sign 2 of the top 5 free agents in the market and be the winners of free agency, they would say, oh my God, yes, who are we getting? And I would say to them, Austin Reeves and LeBron James, because they are 2 of the top 5 free agents. It's not as simple as just going out and spending. The Lakers would have to replace the production of the players they lose. And so I agree, it is very difficult, which is why I think in the end, and I expect the Lakers to make a full evaluation, in the end, I think they're going to be better off bringing back the core of this team and trying to add a piece and hoping that their improvement is Luka Doncic being healthy at the end.
Yes, absolutely. When he was there, they were very healthy. Okay, we'll continue. When he was healthy, they were playing very well. Whether it's ultimately good enough or not remains to be seen. All right, we'll continue much more basketball as we go. But up next, you have to hear this quote. Jackson Dart is fired.
He's in L.A. next season. Can it end well, the Lakers and LeBron James marriage?
Yes, if they announce before the season it's a retirement tour. In other words, everyone's on their
But what
best
if he doesn't
behavior
want that?
Okay, well then no. I'll tell you why.
What if he doesn't want to go into the season with a definitive end on his career because of how well he's playing? I mean, the man averaged 21, 7, and 6 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Still playing at a really high level.
No doubt. No doubt. So in your scenario, how do you end well? How do both parties end well? Where it's jersey retirement? I don't know about statue. I don't know. You go outside that arena, and I was
a lot of statues, a lot of guys that put in a lot of work for the Lakers.
I mean, but I was there. Ironically enough, I was there the 2 games prior to this. I was going to go to that game and decided not to. I guess I should have. I could have gotten a game ball. But if you go outside that arena, it's like LeBron is better than most of these guys, not Magic necessarily, but not for the Lakers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like, how do I put a statue with him next to Kobe or Magic or Kareem for the Lakers? Or Riley for the Lakers?
But that's why I said with Cleveland it would be different, or it could be different if he was trying to pull what he's pulling with the Lakers with Cleveland, because in not only that organization, but that city, that community, he carries so much weight.
So let's do it this way. Let's actually take your question, Cece. You're a Lakers fan. Smalls and I are not. Let's now have you script how this ends well. How many years? What's the rough dollar figure? Okay, let's just do max, close to max, whatever it is. And how do they operate the exit strategy relative to retirement tour or not? And do they give him game balls? Go ahead. Game ball. After every game, I'm giving him a game ball next year.
At the press conference to announce that he is back, it has to be a game ball.
Yeah, every game. He's like, well, I didn't play tonight. Doesn't matter. You're getting
LeBron,
the game ball. I'm giving
a number 24 LeBron basketball.
Oh my God! I'm
for
giving
24th season.
I'm giving you a game ball. Hey, LeBron, you went to a nice meal. Here's a game ball. Here's a game ball. We got to give you a game ball.
I think it's a 1+1 deal, near max money. And it's a situation where the Lakers commit to LeBron and ultimately move off of Austin Reeves and use that player to acquire the pieces